Hello my awesome students and hello world. Welcome to this tutorial where I'd like to push your skills in freeform modeling a little bit further. And that's the reason why I chose this chair for you to model. Actually, it was hard for me to decide which one I'd like to model with you because these freeform chairs would also be cool to model, and you could also have a try on it if you'd like to. I get you the images, but on the tutorial we will do this Callita chair, and yes, let's get right into it. So first of all, as usual, we will insert a canvas, insert from my computer, and I will use here a side view on this one. I will just scale it roughly and do a quick calibration because as I saw here, it is 810 millimeters high. So I get here my canvas and calibrate, and from here to, of course this is a perspective image, so it won't be that perfect, but I'm getting it somewhere here because that's the middle. So 810, and I also move it so that it is somewhere on, more or less, I take here the middle, somewhere on the floor, doesn't matter actually. And a second canvas. The front view. Put it in there. Just scale it roughly. Or you could do a calibration, of course. And so I move it. I have to see that they fit together more or less quite well. So I do a calibration, then I will check afterwards. So from here to somewhere, maybe here. It won't fit perfectly together, I think. So I have to take that one, add it. I just move it here so that I get the connection point here at the top, that I have the same height point here, and you see it won't fit that perfectly together, so I push it here. It's a little bit tricky to, because the calibration isn't that perfect, and when you have perspective images, and also, so hit OK, and when I use the front view to move that here at the bottom feet, maybe I have to scale it a little bit, move it down. So more or less, let's see here on the top. Yeah, not too bad. And check here in the front view if it's more or less in the middle, so find a good position here. Okay. Then let's start with create form here. So we will using here t-spline-modeling. Then we get into our other menu and we will create a cylinder. So actually there are a lot of possibilities how you can create this kind of chair, and you could also start with a cube actually here for the seating area. What we have here is a perfect cylindrical form here, and it's always easier to start with the cylindrical part and then create a cubic part out of it, instead of the other way around. It's always easier. So that's the reason why I start with a cylinder here, and I select the ground plane, and then go here one time to the origin, so I get snapped here to the axis to start from. Actually, you could also start here in the center. We will move it anyway, but don't start here anywhere. Start at axis. Okay, so I click here one time, then I can create my diameter, and I take 40 millimeters here, and then when you move the mouse again, it jumps back actually. So I'm just clicking somewhere, then a little cylinder is popping up, and I just scale it here in the length somewhere around 150. It doesn't matter actually, because we will move and transform the whole stuff anyway, but the diameter of 40 millimeter is important. And also we will change here the diameter faces. The reason why is that we will need some more actually than for the forming of the upper part. Normally I say use as less faces as possible, and actually 6 would also be enough for most of your stuff, but I take 12 here, and also please take 12 because we will need that stuff later. Okay, and hit OK. So we get our first form, and I hit the M key and select here my cylinder, go to the right view, and I'm just moving and rotating it here, that I start from that point. Try to find a good rotation. Yes. Okay. And then now I will switch all the time between these two views. And here I see in the front view that I could actually do some scaling here. So I take this one and always hit the E key, and I scale it in this direction. And also the second one, I scale it up in this direction. I don't scale it in all directions, so just in this one, because switch here to the side right view, because the thickness here is this area the same. Actually, I could also move that a little further, switch to the right view again and scale it. Okay, don't do too much, so always try to go as far with your steps as possible. We don't want too much of subdivisions where we don't need them. Then I do my first extrude, so remember to hit the Alt key on your Windows or the Option key on your Mac, and then I click here and pull out, and be sure to left your key then alone when you move it, otherwise you will do another extrude. Excited, huh? Yep. So switch back here to the right view, and I rotate it here a little bit, and I scale it a little bit and move it a little bit. So we're trying to get the form, and the reason why I do the rotating is because we want to rotate here around this area. And so with every extrude I will rotate a little bit more, switching again to my front view and also scaling in this direction. Maybe now I have to correct here a little bit so that my view, of course, here left and the right side are a little bit different here because it's just a photo, and some switching here back so that nothing get too much weird. So always check from both sides if everything is still fine. Then again, double click my edge loop, press Option Alt again, click one time, and be sure to release the key again, because otherwise I now keep it on. I want to move it, I create another extrude, and I don't want that. So be sure that you release the Alt Option key after you extrude it. So I Command Z this, and I rotate it again and scale it again. Okay, something like that. Switching here and scaling in this direction. So I do a middle thing of this side and that, or you may move your image a little bit. Could also do that. So I have to hit OK first. So edit my canvas a little bit. Don't know if it helps too much, but you see here the image is not perfectly orthographic. So I just use middle way. Okay. Then again, no, actually before we do another scaling, we will try to get the form a little bit more edgy instead of round. And so switching off here the canvas so I can see it a little bit better. Because now the seat is not that round form, it is more square, and at this position I think is a good point. But before I do this, I will create some symmetry here so that I have less work also later on. So I go to Mirror Internal and select here from the middle line we got 1, 2, and then a green line appears, and this is our symmetry line. It's fine, hit OK. And now I take these 2 points and also hit the E key again and move them out, and what I get here is that also on the other side they are moving, and these 2 in the middle I will scale together a little bit, and also these 2 I scale them. You can also just move them, so I do with the scaling, they go more or less parallel. Oops, wrong scaling. So now I get, see that, a little bit more of a square form. And if your vertices are now a little bit weird or mixed up into different heights because of moving, so something like that, then a cool thing is here when you take the whole edge loop and go to modify and say straighten. No, not straighten, flatten, sorry. Flatten. And now the stuff is it flat? Can't see it. From this side, yes. And hit OK. Now everything is in one line again. And then when we get this more edgy form, then let's go on in extruding. So go back here to my view, and I have to adjust my form now a little bit, or to scale it in this direction. Let's see what's happening here. Oh, it's still fine. Good. Then extrude again, Alt key, move it, release the key. Then I rotate it, move it, maybe scale it. I have to do some more then later on, some more moving and adjusting so that my curve fits a little bit better. Switch to this view and see how far you should extrude, more or less. Go back, extrude again, move, release the key, and then could move it in this direction and try to rotate it. And scale it. And what we try to follow is this inner curve, okay, not the other one, because the other one is just a perspective view. So be sure that you follow the inner one, switch back, then scale it, and again, Alt, Option key, move it, and now I rotate it that it's more or less straight here. Scale it down a little bit. Now I'm getting here a view from the top. I leave it here straight because now then I begin to make it smaller again. And here at this point I will adjust my curves here a little bit. So double click use always the whole edge loop and not single points, so you get a better and cleaner result. So, and here, so double click. Maybe I need another edge loop. I will see here if I could position them. Oh no, that's fine. Maybe I will rotate this a little bit more. So more or less, not perfect, but fine. Then double click the edge loop here again. Do another extrude. And here now is our first position where we scale this in the other direction. So that it's getting narrow here again. I don't have an image from the top, so I just could try to do it as best as possible. Then another extrude. Try to rotate it, because we have to rotate here around. And in this view, actually we don't see anything in this view, so I just scale it even more. Maybe something like that. Another extrude. Here I see it now a little bit better where I should be. And another one. Always the same actually, and here I'm just extruding. Maybe I do it flat here before, so I can see better where the end is here, because we will now build around on one side. And I will scale this up. You see here, I have to do here some more forming here later, but I will do here the basic stuff first. So that should be the form from the top. And hit OK at this point, because now we will close the form here and begin to extrude. No, actually we don't need to. Let's see if this works when I take now these edges here. No, not the whole edge loop now. So just the half of it, and it should split up now when I do an extrude. So again, now edit form, then option. And when I move it now, yes, this is what I want. I want to split. And I will scale this and move it. Now see, I'll have a look from this side, and we will rotate it in this direction. So I'm scaling it even more. If I get in there, yes, that is what I want. Not too bad, actually. And I hit OK because I want to close here now this area, and for that I go to Modify, Bridge, and select here one side, then go to side 2, select here this one, side 2, and faces in between 1, and that should be fine actually. Yes, that is what I like to get here. But before I go on, I will adjust the form a little bit, because when I have a look in the edgy mode, this should be quite a lot smaller. So go to the edit form again, and I'm just scaling this down a little bit. And what I do is I take these 2 points, go to the back view and moving it so there's somewhere here in between, and maybe because now the form is a little bit rounder again, I will take these 2, also move it here in this direction just a little bit. Okay, so I can see a small outer face always, and the inner one. And when I have a look here from the side view, actually I have to do now a little bit of twisting, so now it's getting tricky. I take, because this is not actually just as fat. The reason why this is actually smaller, and it is, let me see, I have to get into this rotation here, where I find it, that one, this kind of rotation. Because this thickness is defined by this thickness. So we have to do a little bit of rotation work, and we will do it even also here at the bottom. Maybe we need another edge loop, so may move that a little bit upward. And from the right view, be sure it's rotating here in this direction. And I move it that way, and maybe I'm scaling it a little bit, so something like that. And I take also these two edges here. It's a little bit tricky, I know, but that's the reason why we are learning that. I also rotate this. So this is the basic shape I need before I go on. So let's see in this view. It's fine. Then let's do an extrude again. So again, pull it up. Maybe we have to scale it here a little bit. Also have to do some rescaling and redefining anyway. So move it also here. Looks not too bad. From the top it should look something like that, so that it's not perfect 45 degrees, but here at the top point we will try to achieve somehow 45 degrees, but here it's fine. But I will rotate here in this direction a little bit and maybe move it just one step higher. And always check both views so that it's not getting too deformed. Good, then maybe I will make it a little bit thinner. So I put these two edges here and pull this together, moving this point a little bit with it. So I want my oval form to be a little bit thinner, okay? Be sure that it's not a round thick thing. It should be still something like that, but I want it a little bit thinner. Good. Then again, double click, switch back to the right view, do another extrude, and at this point I flatten it completely. So this is my defining. So switch back to 3 mode, scale it up, go to the side view and scale it in this direction. And from the top, now be sure that it's roughly 45 degrees here from this point, but this should be the orientation of your oval form here. Otherwise we won't get this nice shape. Then another extrude. I do it now from this side view here. Extrude, rotate, scale, move. It's always the same. Right view. Maybe here it's too much of scaling. I have to go back here. Now the rotation will be again a little bit tricky. I'm not sure if this form would be easier doing with curves, maybe, but I want to show you how you could manage such stuff also with the freeform. So I'm just moving that a little bit. Then again, extrude, move, rotate. Now the side view is quite important because I have to push it back, something like that. And always check the perspective so that nothing gets too weird before you go on. You now see my rotation is more or less straight now. And before I do more adjusting, I try to do a rough finishing. So maybe move it a little bit more. So you have to be very accurate in this case. Extrude. Now I push it quite far and switch to the side view. And I'm rotating it now more or less straight. See that? Now my oval has straight form, pushing it up. Let's check here the view. Not too bad. I'm also scaling it that it's straight here. And I have to scale it down a little bit and check my thickness. Oh yeah, my thickness is quite okay here. And then let's build a bridge between these two. So the last step, no, it's not the last step, but I will build here a bridge. One side, then side 2, selecting here, and I take 2 faces in the middle because I want here a middle line, and hit OK. It also uses, you see the green line, so the symmetry is working well, and now I can do a little bit more tuning because you see here the form here is not too perfect. So I will rotate this one a little bit more in this direction. See that that's much better. Always check the views if I'm not getting too thick. So I'm trying to also here, you can push it up a little bit. When it's tricky, then always have a look at the one mode because you see it a little bit better if the edges flow nice. See that? Quite okay. Here I will do a little bit of tuning. Okay, it's not too bad actually. So here, let's see, I think it could be thicker. Also here at the bottom, so it depends, of course, how your form is following. You see when I rotate it, what, so let's see where I have to be here. switch off my canvas to have a look. I think here I would need another edge loop to do this form here a little bit better. So when you need an edge loop, I just double click one next to it and say insert edge. Then I take here the arrows and put them down somewhere here. You also see here in my one mode that I have to adjust here a little bit of edge flowing where its turning point and where it is too thick maybe, so it's now also up to you to find a good form. So make it a little bit thinner here, also here. Always check from all the views. You see that? What is happening when you destroy too much? That's the reason why I'm always rotating my views all the time. So also try to twist that a little bit because it helps following the form up here. And of course I'm trying not to create a little bit of flattening, curvy seat. So I take these, push them down, not too much of course because you cut the geometry. I always better use here that view, so now I get this curvy shape. When I switch back here to my right view, I see I get a little bit off my image here, but what I'd like to do is actually I take these parts here. You can select it as vertices, edges, faces, doesn't matter. But what I want to do is I push this up a little bit. So switch here to this view again, and so I'm just pulling up, see this side parts, and what I also could do is actually take here from the bottom and also push it down a little bit so that I also get this curvy form in the thickness. But actually I don't see that much here down, but and when I switch off here my lines with Control 4, see the form a little bit better if you're satisfied with this. So, but there is an area I'm not so happy with, and I will do a little bit of retopology there so that my edge flow is going a little bit more smooth. And for that I will change actually a little bit of geometry. And because I will delete actually one of those, and I want this edge loop not to go up there, but going here, there. And then I will connect this edge loop. So now watch very carefully what I'm doing, what I'm deleting, what I'm adding to do this retopology work. First thing, I delete that one, and you see on the other side it's also going away, and also this one. Delete that. And actually also delete the rest. So get rid of the whole edge loop. Actually, I could have done this in one step, so just double clicking and deleting that one. Then I will go here to modify, insert point, and I take here, this is my starting point, and Fusion is marking here with the red point the middle of these faces. Actually, it doesn't matter if it is the middle, but then reconnect it here to the back. Okay, that's the first thing. The second one, I want this edge loop going down here, and for that again insert point, and I connect this one here and go to the middle. Also on the other side I get this stuff. Then you see I got here a triangle, and Fusion doesn't like triangles and polygons, so always try to get rid of those types of geometry. No, first of all, I do this in the back also, don't forget that. So insert point, and I connect from here to here and here. Oh, it doesn't work, so try again. Okay, now it worked, good. And I also get rid of this triangle face here, also here in the front. Just delete that. It doesn't look good here. Let's check in a second. And actually, to get rid of this polygon here, and also the back side, I will merge these here together. So go to modify and Weld Vertices, and I select this one and that one, and it's jumping down there and welding together. Then again select the first one, second one, and again also here the upper one, the lower one, and now they are welded together. And you see I have now everywhere 4 sided faces. So I'm happy again, but my topology, I move this point here a little bit, so, and also do here a little bit of modification so that we have a look here from the side view. And push it down a little bit. Now see this edge and face ring here, and we have this on both sides. Maybe I also put this one here also a little bit down. And when I have a look at 3 mode, now I have a better edge flow and looking better. So, but here I will add here in the 3 mode, you see that it's not quite fancy. Get my image back, and I have to adjust here a little bit my edge flow. So I'm taking that one. Oh, wrong side. So where? Oh, so you see, I'm quite, but I don't take. I take points here on this, so that I'm not moving too much stuff here. So check this side view. So, so I have to pull this down, and of course also this edge row. You see, it's, so this is my, and I'm sliding here this one up a little bit so I don't have this close connection. So I take here also this area and go to modify, slide edge, and I take the arrows here where I can move this edge up and down, and I'm trying to find here somewhere a space in the middle and hit OK, because it's always better to have a little bit more of flexibility or more distance when you don't need that. So we'll get a smoother result here. And I see here that I have a little, I'm not sure, this connection isn't quite well. Let's see on the back side, it looks somehow that it is not connected. Maybe here, so let's check here, maybe merge edge, if we have any issue here. I clear my symmetry so that I see it a little bit better maybe. No, it's also not creased. So when I'm just trying when I do to delete that, when geometry isn't fine or not connected perfectly, I could delete it and try to build a bridge between here side 1 and side 2, and no faces in between. Okay. Nope, still there. So then maybe there is a problem, so not this faces where the topic, then I delete these two, and also on the back side, so switch off the canvas, so delete that one. It's also a good lecture that you learn to repair your topology if anything is weird. So I'm doing, it works most of the time when I delete parts and then try to rebuild them again when I can't figure out what is the actual problem. So then I go to bridge 1, 2. Other side 1, 2. Faces in between, no, 1. And let's see. Here we go. Now it looks good. So there was a connection issue, don't know. So I do another bridge. 1, 2. Okay. and now everything is fine again. So if you face the same issue, then now you know how to fix it, that your transition here is perfectly smooth again. And what I also do here now is a little bit more of tuning my geometry, because here I need to go a little bit more round. So here, so I push this in, this points, also there, and let's see in the pre-mode and without the lines how now here the geometry I'm far more happy than before. Maybe here I could do a little bit of adjusting so that my, yes, I see it here in the free mode a little bit better, that I have to move here some parts a little bit so that they get better around the curve, and also I'm editing some points, so this one is actually, so I'm scaling here and rotating and maybe moving so that I have a better curve flow here. And here I could do even more. In this area, I could scale it even more. So, also this area, so I double click these edges here and scale them. And you see, I have to go out or go more up here, and in the back, so it's a little bit, or in the front, no, it's in the front. So it's a little bit hard to figure out where I could do here some more adjustments. So I just put this a little bit more up, also that one here, and always check in the 3 mode that you don't do too much weird stuff. Here I think I will, oh, and when I deleted my Symmetry before, and so now I mixed up everything. And what you could do if this also happens to you, or when you destroy your figure too much, then just go here to this one view, and I select actually 1/2 of it and delete it, and then go to where it is, a mirror duplicate, select here my t-spline body, select the mirror plane, this one, and now I got my duplicate again. Welding tolerance 0.01 should be fine. So now I have my Symmetry back again. Check here in my free mode, everything still fine. Yes, it is. And now I can go on here doing a little bit more of editing work. So now this is too flat here. Pull this up again, this area. So it's all about checking the views and trying. So where's my? And checking where I could adjust here the form a little bit better. It's all about playing and trying and moving and of course it's a free form and you have a little bit of freedom. So here I have to adjust the positioning, I think, a little bit of my take this one here. And this also. When moving points, be sure that the points next to it also move properly or have a good switch off here. There. Now let's do some weird things. So, oh, what is going up there? Oh, I think I have a split point here. So could I delete that? No, yes. Delete. Insert point. Maybe I did a mistake here at the connection. So now it looks fine again. And what it's in the image, I see that this edge here is a little bit more edgy and not so smooth. And what we could do about this, we're trying to now slide, or maybe I take this one and move it closer to the other. Maybe this looks a little bit more. So this one, this one, this one, and this one. Again, modify slide edge. So I take here around 0.6. Okay. And now see, let's see. Without the, yeah, I like that a little bit more. So I have a sharp definition here, or a little bit sharper definition. You also see this at the image. You could do this even more. When you get your vertices closer together, then the smoothness will be more edgy. Okay. Then I think here it's a little bit too thick, so I move the points here a little bit more inward. So here we go, and also take, I don't have to select on every side, but so that I follow the form a little bit better. Also here, and maybe also that one. It's too thick here anyway. So Yeah, now this looks a little bit more round. What you also could do, what is a nice tool in Fusion 360, for example, this edge ring here around, I don't have the exact same thickness everywhere, but you can not delete, you can select this edge ring with selecting one face, pressing shift and double click next to it, then the whole edge face ring is selected. And what you can try to use here is, where it is, the smooth tool. And with this smooth tool, now I'll have a close look, and I can adjust how it's getting, yeah, more or less not straight, but a little bit more of a smooth flow. Be careful not to use it too much, because it will change, of course, a little bit. You see that? Your topology. But you can, I will use this just here a little bit. Okay. And when you have such an issue, maybe also use it for the second one. When your edge flow isn't that smooth as mine is, then this smoothing tool could help you to do a better. So just let's try what happens if I use it also there. You see, it's distributing or spreading the faces a little bit better. So you could do this for the whole thing, or even for the parts that you select. And this is a quite nice tool here to do even better geometry in your work. Of course, see here, maybe could have, I could do here a little bit more of movement. Yeah, but that's really fine-tuning. So I'm actually quite happy with my form here. Maybe here it is a little bit too thick. Looks a little bit weird, so I'm just pulling that together. Yes, now I like it a little bit more. And I think it's now time to switch to creating the feet. So let's go down here, and I hope you still have this perfect cylindrical form. If not, you could also start with a new cylinder here at the bottom, but I will actually do some more extruding, and this spacing gap here I will add later on for the last perfect step. So I take the edge here and I will extrude it. So push it down here, and actually, okay, no, not too far, so maybe just a little bit, and then I do another extrude. And I will scale that, and I take here the middle one that it will scale in every direction, and I will rotate it here. A little bit and scale it even more. So be sure that you take here the middle point, because it is scaling in every direction. That is what I want here. And I put it here to the point where I will start the extrusion then, so it's scale it even more. And do also a little bit more rotation. So this is my next position and a last extrude. And I push this, I also scale this up here from the center point. And move it somewhere there. Good. Then I will close the hole here at the bottom. And for that I will use the fill hole tool and just double click the edge and switch here to the one mode, and be sure that you use actually here fill star. Actually it doesn't fill a star, but we need actually no connection here, because Collapse Fusion don't like triangles, especially when they are going to one point here. So we will do a manual connection here. So just use that one. Now rotate here that you see to the bottom, and you have here your symmetry line going. Now it might be a little bit tricky, but just watch exactly. Go to insert point, and then I will connect here the first point left from the symmetry with the second point, as not the first one, right one, so the second one, this one. Okay, and another time insert point, and now I take here the second left one with the first right one. Okay, and this is what we got. I have to correct this point here and just move it, and it jumps immediately to the middle line. And now we have again four-sided faces. That is what I'd like to have. So here it's not, so something like that doesn't matter. That's fine. And now, of course, we could actually extrude these three faces to create the first foot and then also the other one. But I tried it and it works, but actually we have to have a look at the images, and they tell us that we need a little bit of trapezoid form here, and that's the reason why we'll do a little bit a different technique. And it's also very difficult to work in this diagonal space, so that's the reason why I do a little workaround, and I'll create actually another cylinder, not a cylinder, sorry, a box. This will help me, and you will see it now in a second. So create a box. This box, I select here the bottom plane and starting here from the origin so that I get my guidance. Actually, it doesn't matter, but so I pull up something like that. So I give it a length of 40 and also a width of 40, something like that. No, actually width 20 is enough. Switch here to the one mode. No, it doesn't work. But what is important for you now is length faces 3, width faces 1, and height faces 1. This is actually, we will connect this part later on with the already given part. That's the reason why we need the same kind of edges. and hit OK. So now I can switch here to the one mode. And what I do, now I hit M and I go here, oops, to the top view. Because I want position this somewhere around, yeah, let's take 200. Let's go to the right view here. And I'm not sure where your image is, if it is here perfectly at the center line, but mine is a little bit lower, so I have to lower also my cube and my connection. I take here -50 so that I get somewhere the height, this position here. So also put it there, so it should define the end. Let's switch to the other view. Also move it somewhere here. And what is important, I rotate it -45 degrees. So it's orientated in this direction, and what we do, you might know it already, I will build a bridge between these two, and so this will be actually easier than any other thing. But before we add the bridge, we need trapezoid form here, and that's the reason. So hit OK here. Actually, I should have done this before. And I take the upper edges here, go to edit mode, and maybe, okay, that's now will help it, the selection space, because I want this to scale here, something like that, so that I get this form, because the ends here have this kind of form. And be sure that you don't destroy your form. So that's the reason why I changed here selection space. You could also done this at the beginning before you moved it. Okay. And what I do before I use this is I just Command C, Command V, and copy that stuff, because I will need it, of course, for on the other side. And there I rotate it here -90 degrees, and position it somewhere here. I have the same height, and actually be sure that you don't go too far here behind that one. And let's check here in the other view. I have to push it inside because it's more inside. Okay, this will be the end of our feet. And now do a simple bridge. And before I do the bridge, I actually delete, hit OK. I will delete here 1, 2, 3, switch off here the canvases, delete, and also here 1, 2, 3, delete. Now maybe I will switch off here the symmetry before. I do this because I don't do this stuff on the other side, and so Fusion can't calculate the symmetry, so switch it off here. So go to clear symmetry, select the object, hit OK. Now we don't have a symmetry, and we will mirror it later on again. Then I delete here these parts, and let's see if a bridge works here in one step. So go to bridge, double click one side, double click the other side. No. When I hit here on preview, you see it's intercrossing each other because it wants to connect here. And also when I change here arrow directions or flipping, I think nothing will work. No. So I cancel that, and when this doesn't work, you have to do it manually. So or the first one you have to do manually, so Fusion knows which one should be connected. So go again, modify bridge. Then I select here the top 3 edges and also the top 3 edges. Here, 1, 2, 3. And you see in the preview, it's connecting. Faces, I think, yeah, 3 are fine here. So that we have 2 subdivisions. Hit OK. And now I can do all the others without any troubles. So again, bridge, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And second side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now it works and looks good. Again, faces 3, okay. But the problem, when you hit the 3 mode, is that you see it's not connecting here actually. So there, when I would move that, is a hole. And what we have to do, we have to weld this then afterwards. So go to modify, weld the vertices. And what I do is I just pull up a window that these 2, which are lying over each other, are selected and welded. And then everything's fine again. See that? It looks good, and also our foot looks good. Hit OK. And then, of course, I take these 2 and so switch back my coordinate space and I bend it down a little bit. And I think this would now fit our, maybe this one a little bit more. And you see we have immediately a perfect connection, and this would have been a lot trickier if I do this with an extrude to get a perfect nice form here. So that's the reason why I do this little workaround with this helping tool, and so we had got nice ends. Okay, then let's do this also for the other part here. So switch back to my 1 mode, I delete this one, and 1, 2, 3, that one, and do bridge, 1, 2, 3. I do it also separate again because it won't work anyway, and 1, 2, 3 here. Okay, and again so 5 on this side and 5 on the other one. Okay, and don't forget to weld afterwards. So where's my weld tool? Here, weld the vertices. So 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, and somewhere like here. Be sure that you don't select too much. Have a look around it. Looks good. And pull down that it is a little bit more curvy. And let's see here in our views. Not too bad. Of course, you know, that's a perspective image, but I'm very happy with the result here. And so, but when we also have a look at the image, we see we have more edgy areas here. And maybe, yeah, I will mirror the whole thing before I do the details. So switch to this view and just select the half of the object, delete that, then go to modify, no, symmetry, sorry, mirror duplicate, select the body, select the mirror plane, weld tolerance, yeah, fine, check. My 3 mode didn't work. Oh, that's the reason, maybe why. Because I deleted here too much and didn't have a middle line, so we have to do a little bit of fill hole here. Yeah. Now my 3 mode didn't work again. So now it's, I'm not sure if maybe I do this here again. Because I think that this is not connected well, so I'm just fill hole. Yes, and then I do the connection again. Repeat insert point also here. Good. And now my 3 mode works again. So that's a symbol that something is wrong with your geometry when you can't switch into the smooth mode. So, and what I wanted to do is actually, now I need more definition here of this border edge, because this is way too smooth. But the problem is I can't do this all the way around the object. And maybe I will move that one a little bit down. And I will do a manual connection so that it's not the perfect way, but insert edge won't work around here. So I'm using insert point and start here at the middle line, and I'm going somewhere in the upper area, so not too close, but something like that. And I'm just clicking through and getting here a manual edge loop. You can try, but to do it all at once, but it won't work. That's the reason why I'm doing here the clicking work. So I'm back here to my symmetry, enter, and now I got here my line, and when I'm hitting 3 mode, this is what I wanted, so I have much more definition here. So maybe you could also do this here at the bottom. But actually it looks quite cool. There are little mini cylinders here on the bottom. You could also do this to don't scratch the floor. And I'm not sure if I should taper this a little bit, because they are a little bit too thick, I think. But that's no problem, so we will just scale this down a little bit. So I go here, double click, double click, double click, and could I also double click that? No, I have to do it manually. So these 4 edge loops, and switch here to selection space, because now I can scale here in this direction. Otherwise it would scale here, of course, something like that. Okay, I don't want that, of course. And also here on the other side, so double click here, 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 and at the front I have to select it that way. Also switch here, selection space, and then you could scale in this direction. And now it looks a little bit better from the scaling. Yeah. So it depends on how thick you created here your helping points. But now I like my form here very much. Maybe, and I will do this, I could take all the faces here from the bottom and do one extrude to give it a better definition. So good, and let's try an extrude again here, just a little bit down, nothing special, and maybe I will scale it just a little bit. I'm not sure if the scaling works here or it destroys. No, don't do scaling, just that's what I want to get more definition here on the corners. And I guess now I'm fully happy with my feet here. The last thing that I will do is at the point where, so I have my body, here it was, where I get my space gap, and I modify, insert an edge here, and then I just take this edge ring, I'll switch off here, and let's see if this works when I hit the Alt key, Option key, and scale this down. Yeah, so I get a little bit of definition here. Of course, that's not enough. I need more edge loops that this keeps the form. So you could also make it a little bit smaller. So this is quite big. Insert an edge loop on this one, 0.9. Okay, and repeating also here. So I leave it so just that I see this a little bit. You can push it more inside. Switch off my canvases here. So I get the feeling, okay, this is connected here somehow. And yeah, I think I'm quite happy now with my chair here. So let's see what happens when we finish the form. It worked. I hope it also works with your chair, because if it don't work, then you have any geometry problem. And when I have here my view of the curves that Fusion built here, it looks actually quite okay, I think. I will set up a quick little rendering. Nothing special. I think you don't need that here for explaining. You see it in my render setup and materials tutorial anyway. So this is what I end up with. Just a quick little rendering, a little render setup, and yeah, that's it. Hope you had fun and learned a lot, and I hope it wasn't too difficult. A little bit tricky, yes, but I hope it pushed your skills a little further. So, have a nice day.